Let's clear up the confusion about orienting your punch cards for knitting.
I'm working with a punch card that I designed and punched myself. It spells out the words, what God has joined together, and it is for an anniversary present. I thought this would be the perfect opportunity to show you how to get a punch card aligned to begin it correctly, even if you did not follow all the rules about punching punch cards, and you might be using it on a different machine than the one for which it was originally designed. This is worked in 2 strips that will be joined, and there's the first one completed. Here's the second one, and what we need to remember is that what comes out of the machine will be backwards. So we need to insert the card so that the back is facing us, like that. Also, what comes out of the machine first is the beginning of the writing. So we wouldn't want to start with the R on together, which is way over there, and the very last thing. We want to start with the J on joined. So I will be inserting like this, so that the J is backwards to me and it goes in first. Here it is on the way into the machine. I'm only going to rotate it in enough so that I know it will feed. Then I'm going to come over and set this to KC, make sure this is set to advance, and start knitting with the needles that I'm going to use pulled out, but no yarn. Here are my selected needles. Remember, I'm set on KC, so if I were really knitting, it would pattern. It's not going to pattern until I get to the first selected row on the card. And I neither know where that is or need to know because it will tell me. Aha! There's our first selected stitch. All I have to do is lock the card on that row. And now I'm going to come over here and cast on and begin knitting. As it happens, I wish to make 15 stockinette rows before the words begin. So I will do that, plain knitting, then turn to KC again and allow the card to advance, add color 2, and we'll be starting at exactly the right point. One little refinement though. I want 15 rows of plain knitting, but of course I have to allow the carriage a row to select. So I'm going to knit 14 on N, the 15th on KC, then I won't need to change that again. It will stay on KC. I will add color 2 to feeder 2, let the card advance, and start just knitting. 14 plain rows are knitted. My weights are hung. Change to KC and knit a row. The selection has begun. The card was locked. We now set it to advance. I've loaded color 2. On this machine, we push the MC button. If it were a Singer or Studio, we would turn it to Fair Isle, or sometimes on the older machines, it's labeled the Knit In setting, and off we go. It should start knitting words. So just to review, the card needs to be backwards, so you cannot read it easily. It's the back of the design that is going to face you. So the front of the design needs to be on the back of the card. It doesn't matter if it's checks or something like that because they're reversible. This, of course, is not. If it is also not reversible end to end, you need to make sure the leading edge of the card goes in first. Otherwise, you'll get gobbledygook. KC for pattern knitting. Card to advance. Fair Isle settings.
Here's the project I was working on. It's an anniversary pillow to celebrate 30 years of marriage for some close friends. They really enjoyed it.